Now, a lot of you might think that my topic is irrelevant or outdated. People nowadays use text, Snapchat, or Facebook posts to congratulate people, to thank people, or to celebrate special occasions. But I think that is a necessary topic to go over because of the personal way to communicate to people through cards. Now, the first part of the card that you'll need is the base card. As it's called, it's the plain card that you build and decorate on. And the essential tool that you will need to make this base card is called the paper trimmer. It has two different types of blades. One is for trimming the card and one is for scoring. And so the scoring one has a dull blade, so it helps you fold the card, while the trimming one is just for cutting. Now, after you make the base card, you would want to measure the dimensions of it so that you know that it will fit in whatever envelope that you're going to use, and to know how to layer it, which I'll go over soon. So the base layer is a patterned cardstock that you place on top of the base card. So the pattern would depend on the occasion, like Christmas. And for thank you cards, you would use something like those. And for Valentine's Day, you would use something with patterned hearts. Now you would want to use a base layer that has a contrasting color to the base card, because you don't want to have something like a blue card with a blue layer. Then you can't really notice the difference between the two. Instead, you would want to have a base card that's blue and maybe a layer that's white to contrast it, but you wouldn't want to have a conflicting color like red on blue. And to make the transition between the base card and the layer better, you would add ribbon, lace, or twine on the edge of the paper. On top of the layer, you would need to have a message, like happy birthday or Merry Christmas on top of it. And for that, you would use stamps. There are two types of stamps that I typically use. One is rubber and one is clear. So the rubber one, as Kimber McGray mentions in her book about card making, is a lot more durable. So you can use it for a longer time, and it lasts longer than the clearer ones. And the clear ones are easy to see where you place the stamp so it doesn't get off-centered. And for the type of ink, I typically don't care too much about the type of ink, but McGray does explain the differences between the three types of inks that people use for card making, which are the dye ones, pigmented ones, and the chalk ones. So the dyed ones dry quickly and are not waterproof, and the pigmented ones they dry a lot slower, but show a lot better. And the chalk ones are softer with a blurred image. So some helpful tools for card making can be double-sided tape. When you use glue, it can get really messy, so when applying or when putting the layer on top of the base card, I would usually use double-sided tape or adhesive rollers. And also for ribbons, you wouldn't want to use glue on that, it won't stick. So double-sided tape does work better. And a shape puncher, scissors, and cutting boards, those are all typical tools that you could use to help with your card making. These are some extra decorations that you can use. So I included example cards. So as you can see, I used a blue layer on top of a white base card so that it can contrast. And I used ribbons on top of it so that the transition between the layer and the base card is not as abrupt. In the St. James Encyclopedia of Popular Culture, Wendy Wolfson explains that handmade cards and valentines were popular in the 18th and 19th centuries. But as time passed, people used more pre-printed cards, losing the traditional and personalized letters. So handmade cards can be a lot more meaningful and can show the care you have for the people that you give them to, considering the time and effort that it takes to make them. After today, I hope that people would exchange a lot more handmade cards instead of using text messages or technology. Thank you.